Barrack, maybe we should drill deeper and look also at the integrity question as well, because we have the speakers at the National Election Conference saying that there is difficulty in law on dealing with the candidates with integrity question. Even as we speak right now, we know there's a case which is pending and awaiting maybe the ruling by the High Court on the 20th on the integrity question that the Kenya National Human Rights Commission had actually sought an advisory opinion on this particular matter, especially the leadership and integrity, Chapter 6 of the Constitution. So what is the difficulty with the law? Or is it also deliberate? Because we've never seen also, or maybe we've never even cared to really drill deeper and see the draft constitution that we had, where we had the original Chapter 6 of the Constitution and the current, Chapter 6 of the Constitution.
See, questions of the Constitution really, we had a lot of time to read the draft, and we went through a number of drafts. Sometimes we even forget which ones. We had the Bomas process, we had Kilifi, then we had the Nzamba Gitonga draft eventually. And we had ample time to read the draft. There were even education forums organized throughout the country by the team of experts and by other institutions as well, civil society and so on. We need to recognize where historically we are coming from. And we are coming from a dispensation where there was a lot of arbitrariness in the country. Arbitrariness in the sense that you could be picked up from your house, from your office, and arraigned before a kangaroo court, and within a matter of minutes you are in committee maximum security prison, or sometimes you have just disappeared. In certain contexts, we also saw that where we have come from, you could even just be detained without a trial. And so at the point that we were giving ourselves a new constitution, we were consciously, deliberately trying to make it very difficult for those who exercise power to also exercise arbitrariness. We know that the one-party days, you could be barred from participating in elections on a very flimsy ground. Sometimes they did not even need to explain why they were barring you from participating. So we get to a situation where we are saying that we would like to bar the door completely to all that, and that the rights of the individuals and the citizens take precedence over all other concerns. And therefore, that's why we have it within the Constitution itself, that you'd have to be tried and to be found guilty and to be convicted and to indeed exhaust all appellate processes.
Yes.
And so if you have not gone through the whole gamut, it becomes very difficult for the IEBC to clamp down upon you, and even the people who are presenting certain petitions before the IEBC and saying that there are integrity issues with regard to such and such a person. There's a sense in which they are also just being mischievous,
yes,
because they understand what the law says. If the EACC, for example, is concerned about certain individuals and they're saying, we have investigated, the question follows that what have you done beyond the investigation? Why have you been sitting on your findings as if you are a chicken sitting on its eggs, hoping that at some point they are going to hatch? If the director of criminal prosecutions has also public prosecutions has also just been sitting and saying we have investigated, what action have they taken? People are alleged to have done certain things. They do not even have cases pending before the courts. How then does the IBC say we are locking this one out?
All right. So what, because the main challenge of this particular chapter has not been, brought to bear or actually lend some credence, or maybe not really credence, but clarity as well. What is the challenge? What is the difficulty? Because we don't tend to understand.
There's two difficulties. The law is innocent.
The law is innocent.
The law says that, number one, if you are found to be of a particular degree of misbehavior, you should not hold public office. The law then says that that finding must be a finding of some due process. That is a proper, delicate balancing by the law, that you must have been taken through some due process first, then found to be a person of misbehavior, then you are barred from holding public office. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that provision of the law. Two things are absent in this country. One, just the institutional will. Because, what is it? There is an investigation agency called the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Yes.
It's supposed to do its work, finish, forward that file to the DPP, review it, satisfy himself, take this person to court. That court is not an abstract institution. It's an institution financed by the taxpayer, manned by men and women to process these people to their logical end.
Yes.
Allow them to go through appellate processes, which processes exist on the ground. They are institutions manned by men and women that are supposed to process these people. If the people are found to have violated the law, the IEBC is supposed to bar them. So the mechanisms exist in the law.
Yes.
They're not abstract. It's not a case where the law has said you must satisfy these appellate processes, but failed to set up the processes so that you are embarrassed. Now, the other, so that is one. It's just a failure of these institutions.
Yes.
If you don't take people through that process, then you keep crying from the streets. I mean, the days when you convicted people in the streets are not available in civilized societies.
Yes.
There are mechanisms existing, arrest them, collect evidence, collect it, present it, let them be prosecuted, let them be found guilty, let them be barred from holding a public office. Number two, it is lack of a constitutional culture. That where it is believed that those institutions have failed, at the end of the day, the people have to decide. The people have to ask. You see, these people have not been involved in some darkroom scandals. These are scandals in the public domain. When you hear the names being mentioned here, even you can tell me which scandals are associated with them. The voter out there, if he exercised a limit of constitutional culture, if he was cultured enough constitutionally, he will say, well, without pronouncing myself on their guilt or innocence, the manner in which their names have been associated with scandal 1, 2, and 3 makes me uncomfortable with retaining them as my representatives. But you see, if you live in a culture of nataka mwizi wetu, we want our thief.
Yes.
Whom do you blame when the thief finally assumes public office?
Yes.
So I think at that juncture, as a country, our reflection ought to be in those two. And as responsible public office holders, commissioners at EACC, DPP's office bearers, the judiciary, the whole chain of it needs to ask itself, what did we do to ensure that the precondition in Article 99, sub-Article 3 of exhaustion of all tiers of appeals has been satisfied? Because we are the ones who wield the power of moving this machinery.
Yes.
Did we move the machinery? Then at the second level, reflection of the average citizenry. Are we among those who want our thief in public office? Once we have our thief in public office and he is stealing, let's live with it comfortably. I think I've come to that.
In other words, if I may amplify on what Elisha is saying, eventually the thief is presented to the public. Perfect case of give us Barabbas, and we will deal with the situation. So you've been given the thief. You also have other candidates. If there's adequate public outrage, then the public should exercise the option of saying that, no, we don't want this thief. You've been given the perfect opportunity then to make your decision. But we have seen, even from the party primaries, that the public itself is very excited about some of these people, and they are saying we are going to elect them. So maybe we should just live with the thieves and be ruled and governed by the thieves, because as the public, we are willing to accept them. Why do we then start asking somebody that, why have you allowed these people to be on the ballot paper, when as the public we are so prepared to vote for them, and not just vote for them, but vote for them overwhelmingly?